Hi, I'm doing this interview because I feel that there are many people out there who, like me, are really tired of getting a runaround from big companies when we order products from them and we want to follow up. So I'm hoping that my experience with Skechers, who in my mind has become sketchy, will maybe help people to also, other people out there, other customers, to be able to make their voices heard enough that these companies might listen and actually put in some real customer service and stop wasting our time, stop stressing us out, and stop using COVID for an excuse to exploit people further. It's a serious situation we have out there, and we really need to be able to carry on business with as much ease and as less stress as possible. So I'm hoping that my story might help you to also be able to make decisions that lessen the stress in your life and perhaps let these big companies know that we're not going to support this. Well, I placed an order with Skechers. I really like a particular brand of sneaker because it's so comfortable, and placed an order with them, and then had some issues with trying to figure out why it wasn't sent a few days later. It just kept saying processing, processing. I had canceled one, changed another. I did a couple of those things like people do when you're trying to figure out, what do I want? And no, I don't want that after all. I want to change. So I did do some of that, but I tried to call first of all to be able to make sure that this was actually done. And I like to, when I make changes, I like in anything, in any kind of order, I just like to confirm that, okay, here's the order now. You've got the changes, because I'd already given my credit card number. And we all know how we feel about our credit cards. And today, with today, especially with credit card fraud being an issue, I'm not comfortable with, making charges, and I'm not even saying Skechers is fraudulent. I also just don't need the hassles of trying to undo mistakes and misunderstandings and errors. So I try to be clear up front. Sorry about backing up, but I'm trying to keep events in sequence. That's when I found out that none of the customer service numbers provided worked. When I called, what I got was, well, because of COVID and our concern, we shut down our corporate offices, and the number isn't working. So we do have an email. Go to the email address, which I don't know how you feel about it, but if I have an issue I want to resolve right away, especially when it concerns money and your credit card and an order, I want to talk to a human being. They didn't have a chat option. It was simply email us. So I tried a US number, and the US number, the customer service rep answered it. And so I explained my situation, and they asked me a few questions, and then they said, "Oh, you're from Canada. Well, we can't help you." And I said, "Well, this says it ships from the US." "Well, still, we can't help you. That's Canada." And so I explained the situation, and they said, "Well, here's a number for you to try. They should be answering from that." So I tried that number, and I got the same thing, that there was no customer service available. And so I called back again, and I told them, "Your number's not working in Canada." And they said, "Oh, here's another number. Try this number. It's the corporate office." So I tried that number. No answer. Well, the same thing. You can imagine this is just a little bit frustrating that you can't look up my order, even though it ships, and you've got no chat. And I'm supposed to send an email to someone. So when I called back the third time, I was irritated, and I'm saying, "Okay, you're Skechers. You're not some small hole in the wall company. You're Skechers." And they said to me, I said, "Why don't you have something going in Canada?" And they said, Well, we were shut down for a little while here too, but we opened up the customer service. And I said, that's not an answer. Why aren't they open there? Well, they're not. And they do have email people. And I said, yes, but it says it's going to take a few days to answer. My situation is I just changed this. I want to know now that you've got this properly done, because you've already got my credit card, and you're supposed to give a window to cancel and to make changes. So I just wanted to make sure this thing has been taken off. And well, they've got tens of thousands of emails coming in, and it takes some time to answer it. And so just be patient. And I said, again, you're Skechers. Why am I having to wait days? And why are they so backed up? Well, because there's so many orders. We've got more orders than ever. I don't know if you follow that, but to me it's okay, so you're pulling more money in than ever. Why don't these people talk from home, remote? Why aren't they answering from home? Lots of companies have that. Well, they don't have phones. Okay, so where are you shipping this stuff over to? Who's answering my emails? Is somebody who has no idea what I'm talking about? And it's just, I don't know how you feel about that, but suddenly Skechers just look very sketchy to me. You've got more orders than ever. I did go to, I went to email them finally out of frustration, because what else am I going to do? And I did complain about the fact that I'm having to email you. I need an answer now. I want to know now. And I sent the email. Then, of course, I get back, we've got your email. Please be patient. And the email came back from, here's another thing I found interesting. When you go to email, they call it Skechers Canada Consumer Affairs. Well, that sounds very official for somebody who's going to God knows where. And it's called info, and yet the email is infocanada@skechers.com. They have one email address for everybody. It's not customer service here, orders here, it's Skechers. You have one catch-all email address? And then my answer too not only didn't come back from Skechers directly, it came back from via freshdesk.com. So it's going through a conduit even. And I don't know about you, but I, as a client, feel completely distanced from this company, completely arm's length. So I get back an email that was obviously an auto reply, copy and paste kind of thing, that if you're not happy with your purchase, then we're looking into it. It was like, we're looking into it. And if you're not happy with your purchase, you could return it. And what else did they say? I should have had the email up here. But basically, they didn't answer my question. They just kept putting me off.
Struggles.
Yeah. And so there were these back and forth emails that didn't answer anything. All of this in something that would have taken 5 minutes to confirm had there been a customer service. And so I looked on my Visa credit card at some point, and they'd made several charges, and it was in the authorized transactions. So there were more charges than there should have been. And I needed to straighten this out. So I called my Visa and expressed my concerns, and they said, well, they've authorized these transactions, but they haven't put them all through yet. So now you're going to have to wait and see if they put them through. And then call us back and let us know if you actually got what you wanted. But let's take off. They took off immediately. No, they said we can't take it off when it's inauthorized, because it hasn't been processed yet. So here I am, one order, days and hours spent waiting on holds to get through, to talk to people, and then to be told you have to do another step just for one order. And by then I am so frustrated. So I had to keep checking my credit card. Eventually, the other charges came off, but I hadn't received any product. And at that time, I had checked into my account and it still said processing for the order, that it was processing. So I'm having to write again and go, what does this mean? You're still processing my order? Are you out of the shoes? And of course, I finally got a response. I guess a few days later, the shoes showed up. And this is weeks of going kind of back and forth. The shoes showed up, and that day I got an email saying, your order has been processed. So this is all I had to go through, to get one parcel because there is no customer service. And my question is, why do you have your Skechers? Why are companies using COVID? COVID is being used as an excuse for everything. I got an email from them too going, our deliveries are backed up and things are backed up. We have so many orders. And because like Canada Post, we're having problems with delivery due to COVID. And I'm going, so now you're bringing Canada Post into it. That's why you don't have customer service, is because Canada Post has problems. And that's what makes me mad, is big companies who are already raking in the bucks are, instead of expanding their customer service, even though they're going, oh, we're doing everything to work with COVID. No, you're not. You're capitalizing on it. You're using it for every excuse, from a defect in a running shoe to horrible customer service, laying people off. Your warehouse is going like crazy. And again, COVID is the next convenient excuse for, under the cover of, we really care about you, maximizing profits and minimizing interactions with people, minimizing job opportunities, and exploitation. And that's what I resent, is using situations where humans are in fear and already under a lot of stress and a lot of norms that aren't norms for human thriving. And we're being frustrated by companies that are pulling back on services in the name of COVID. I don't know about you, but I am so sick of hearing wait longs are longer than usual at this time. We're so busy. When haven't wait longs been longer than usual? Get a new excuse, because this one is really irritating. It's insulting. It's adding insult to injury. And, I can't tell anybody what choices they should make, but just speaking for myself, big companies today are definitely profit for purpose oriented over client service. But, I do look for somebody that has a direct customer service line, and that I record all my business calls, all of them, so that we don't play he said, she said. And I would definitely recommend, whether you've got, a downloadable recorder, whatever it is, you let them know, I'm also recording this conversation. I mean, here where I live, it's one party consent. It's not a big deal. You can or don't have to. But I record every business conversation, and I find it has been absolutely invaluable. In fact, I'll tell you what I did to one company. I kept track of my time. In fact, I've done it to two companies, and they're utility companies, basic service companies. I kept track of all the time when they cost me money business-wise, and they cost me time business-wise. And I finally said, because it had dragged on, where they would say, well, we'll take care of this, and they wouldn't take care of it. And it cost me time, and it cost me business, and it cost me inconvenience and stress. So I took all those hours, added them up, and I billed and sent the bill to the COO. I sent it to the president. I sent it to the CFO. And the bill came to $5,000, over $5,000. And I billed them for my time. And I said, you pay your employees to look after these things, and they don't. So I've got to look after your employees and the situation. Therefore, I am billing you for my time, because I've been forced to work for your company. And both times, one sent me a check, and that was for a smaller amount, but it was still substantial. And another one had their director, regional director, call and make a deal for services. Um, so, I guess it's a point of letting them know that you're unhappy. That was finally to the point where I billed back. And, maybe you want to try that. It has worked. Um, but make sure, if you're ordering shoes, to get back to your question, is that what is your return policy? And if you can't talk to a live human being, and a live human being who communicates with you in a way that lets you know they're there with you, they're present, they're not just mouthing words. I'm sorry you had this problem. No, there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm really sorry you had this problem.